watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Got a lot to get to in this next hour, and I want to let you know we are also standing by for a live update any minute now where we expect to hear from Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood talking about this off-duty Edgewater police officer who was killed in what the sheriff has previously called a targeted assassination. Just absolutely heartbreaking and disturbing details out of this case. We'll get into that in just a minute. But we do expect to hear from the Volusia County Sheriff speaking any minute now. That is a live look where we expect to hear from Chitwood. We will bring that to you live as soon as it begins. You won't miss any of that. We are also speaking with Florida Highway Patrol about the deadly wrong-way crash in Brevard County over the weekend. It happened on I-95. We are learning some more details about the situation and what happened, and we'll get into that later as well. Also, Orange County responding to the state DOJ audit findings. CFO Blaise Ngolia held a news conference yesterday claiming that $200 million of Orange County's budget is excessive and wasteful spending. That was what the CFO had to say when he spoke yesterday in Orlando. And then we heard from Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings later yesterday evening responding, saying that the CFO must have done some, quote, fuzzy math to get to those results and those findings in the DOJ audit. And so we will hear more about that coming up in just a little bit, as we will hear from Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. But we are following up today on this sad situation out of Volusia County, where we have learned an off-duty officer, David Jewell, was shot, according to investigators, by a gas station employee while he was waiting in line to pay for a hot dog. This is David Jewell. Let me show you his photo here. He was, again, a member of the Edgewater Police Department. He was off duty at the time, and we're learning more about him and this situation as well. I want to go to Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie first, who has more on, actually, no, I'm going to go to Fox 35's Amanda Ruiz, who has more on the situation and what we have learned about this shooting as we await new details from the Volusia County Sheriff any minute.
Said that they were able to talk to Machado and also some of his family members to figure out why he did this in the first place. First of all, he did confirm that he did murder the officer and said that he was planning on doing it because he had a bad day at work, and said that he was planning on doing it even prior to this all happening. They also spoke to his family members, and his family members said that he was recently diagnosed with a mental health condition, saying that he was starting to hear voices. Now, this is all coming from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. They're sharing these details with us. They said that Machado said that he's seen the officer inside this convenience store several times. He says he did not know that he was an officer, but said that he saw him with a firearm previously and was afraid of him. He also thinks that he had a few arguments with this officer, but said that he couldn't go into detail about any of those said arguments. Now, Mike Chitwood, the sheriff of Volusia County, did share with us that the officer was inside this store trying to get a hot dog, and he was only there for a minute before Machado went behind him and shot him in the back of the head several times.
He walks up behind David and fires multiple shots into David's head. When David goes to the ground, the gun jams. He stands over top of him, clears the gun, and then probably fires another 7 or 8 shots.
Now, no words were exchanged between the two. The gun used was one recently purchased by Machado. He has been arrested and he is in custody currently and charged with first-degree premeditated murder with no bond. He has a court date later today at 1:30. We'll keep you updated on how that develops.
Yes, his first appearance expected this afternoon, and we will bring you updates from the courtroom. Meanwhile, that is the Eduardo Machado, the suspect who is facing charges in this. According to the sheriff, they believe he may have fired 10 to 15 shots total in this case. Now, we are learning more about Officer Jewell, Officer David Jewell, the Edgewater police officer who was shot and killed. And we've learned he had a history of public service. Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie has more on what we're learning about Officer Jewell.
Well, Officer David Jewell had been with the Edgewater Police Department for the past 2 years. You can take a look at this photo that was shared with Fox 35 showing the moment he was sworn in as an officer. Now, before that, Sheriff Mike Chitwood says Officer Jewell previously worked for the Volusia County Sheriff's Office as a telecommunicator. The acting Edgewater Police Chief says Officer Jewell was a guy that could be relied on for anything, and no one ever had a bad thing to say about him. He says Jewell always had a big smile and was eager to work and volunteered to pick up extra shifts. We spoke with Edgewater Mayor Diesel Depew. He says it's a big loss for the department and for the city.
There's a shift missing. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Now he's not coming home because of some evil coward at a gas station.
Couldn't believe the news. He was a wonderful individual. We have a small but mighty police force. Everybody knows everybody. He was such a kind-hearted individual who wouldn't harm a fly.
The mayor says there are plans for a memorial, and those plans will be announced soon, so we will keep you updated on those details.
We are continuing to learn more as well. You heard just a quick soundbite from that interview with Edgewater Mayor Diesel Depew. He was on Good Day Orlando this morning and talked more, reacting to this shooting and also talking more about what Officer Jewell was like. And I want to play for you that full conversation with Fox 35's Amy Kaufeld earlier this morning.
Just a heartbreaking story. We were talking a little bit. You said that you got the call almost immediately. What was your reaction?
I did. The city manager and I are very close, and he was a former chief of police, and my heart was just broken. I stopped what I was doing and couldn't believe the news. He was a wonderful individual. We have a small but mighty police force. Everybody knows everybody. He was such a kind-hearted individual who wouldn't harm a fly.
We know that he came to Edgewater from Volusia County, worked in telecommunications with the sheriff's office before coming to you, but he'd been with you for a couple of years. Tell me a little bit about David, the kind of person he was.
He was known all throughout the community as being kind-hearted, cool and collected and calm at all times. He was known being there at the community when needed. He helped an individual push a car several times when being broke down on our US 1 corridor. He was such a kind-hearted individual. Everyone in the police department is very shocked and said that this couldn't have happened to a greater individual.
The circumstances surrounding this are horrific, hard to talk about and even to stomach. Why on earth would something like this happen to David? I mean, I'm sure you're racking your brain.
I still can't wrap my brain around it. I can't understand why this would happen, especially to him. Such a terrible, I think, hate crime, and I really hope that justice will be served soon. I believe this afternoon. I just can't wrap my head around what happened.
Was he in plain clothes at the time? It's our understanding that this clerk may have known that he was a police officer.
Yes, I believe he was in plain clothes. He was off duty. He went there for a hot dog, is what was reported, and he lived a mile away. And he was just a plain individual, but I believe that the clerk knew him because he frequented the store.
It's our understanding as well that there was somebody in the car with David. Have you had a chance to talk to family members or other people within the family?
I'm going to give them time to mourn their loss. I'm going to write them a card this afternoon, but I will reach out within a couple of days. I believe it was his father-in-law. I just feel terrible for the whole entire family and especially his children.
I know it's still very soon. Any plans for how you will remember David? I'm sure that that's something you'll also be talking about this week.
Well, David gave his life to public service. It'll never be forgotten. Individuals in the community have already reached out to me about doing a private memorial in front of the police station. Public memorial in front of the police station to honor David's life, and I'm sure that there will be a private memorial as well where all law enforcement agencies across the state of Florida will be present.
What words do you have for the person that did this?
I just don't why. I don't know how you can be such a coward to do a thing like this, especially he couldn't have been to a greater individual. He was such a kind-hearted man that gave his life to public service. How could you? I really hope he rots behind bars for the rest of his life.
That was Edgewater Mayor Diesel Depew speaking on Good Day Orlando this morning, giving his reaction to what we know about this shooting so far. Again, we have much more coverage to come on this. We are still standing by for the briefing from Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood that we expect to begin any minute now. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox Local, but we'll be right back. And if we need to come back early to get you inside that news conference, we will. You won't miss anything from it. So keep it here on Fox Local and on YouTube, and we'll have more Fox 35 News Plus after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I give you a live look right now inside the Volusia Sheriff's Office, where we are waiting to hear from Sheriff Mike Chitwood, giving an update on what he calls a targeted assassination, the killing of an off-duty Edgewater police officer. This is Officer David Jewell, who is off duty, believed to be in plain clothes at the time, around 4 o'clock yesterday at a Circle K gas station near Ocean Shore Boulevard and Wisteria Drive. That's in Ormond by the Sea. Surveillance video, according to the sheriff, shows a gas station employee, believed to be Eduardo Machado, shooting Jewell from behind. Investigators saying that there were likely 10 to 15 shots fired that killed Officer David Jewell. I want to show you video of the procession last night as law enforcement from the state and from local agencies, including the police department and the sheriff's office, led this procession to honor David Jewell. We are waiting on more details any minute now from the sheriff ahead of the first appearance in court of that suspect, Eduardo Machado, expected in court this afternoon. So we are continuing to monitor this, and we will have new details for you in just moments. We are expecting this to begin around 11 o'clock, so any minute now, and we will bring that to you live as soon as it begins. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson joins me now, and Jess, talking tropics today.
Yes.
A lot of folks watching what's going to be Gabrielle.
Yeah, we're expecting at least, possibly a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane. It's going to be something we have to watch carefully, obviously, over the next couple of days. But we are still tracking the tropics, as we mentioned, and there's not just one thing we're watching now. It's actually two. But we'll talk about Invest 92L, which will likely become Gabrielle at some point. We haven't quite reached tropical depression strength yet, but we'll likely see that take place here in the next day or two. But again, as I mentioned, the next name on the list is Gabrielle. It still looks like it's going to curve out to sea, be a fish storm, might bring impacts to Bermuda, but otherwise we'll have that next wave we're watching that's coming off the west coast of Africa. That's that yellow blob you see. That's a 20% chance of development. So definitely something we're keeping a close eye on here over the next couple of days. And spaghetti models continue to show this, pretty northerly curve that we're going to be expecting. There's a good consensus of that northerly turn taking place with the Invest 92L. So that's some good news too. It's going to be staying away from the U.S. and we're going to be in good shape. Likely just some rough surf is what we can expect from this system, which is what we've kind of been seeing so far in terms of that high risk of rip currents at the beaches. But here at home, temperatures are going to be pretty similar to yesterday, a high of around 89 degrees in Orlando. If you have any sort of lunchtime plans, they're going to be really pleasant, really nice. It's going to be a little more humid today than what we saw yesterday, and that's going to be kind of the trend here over the next couple of days. But regardless, temperatures are going to be climbing into, say, the mid to upper 80s, mid 80s closer to the coast, upper 80s further inland. As I mentioned, a high of 89 degrees today in Orlando, around 85 Daytona Beach and into New Smyrna. So we're going to be in pretty good shape as far as that's concerned. When it comes to future clouds and radar, we are going to be expecting just a few of these hit and miss downpours. Really not going to be expecting widespread shower or thunderstorm action by any means, just a 20% chance of rain. And that's, again, mostly going to be taking place as we head into this afternoon. And I would say especially near Brevard County once again. So not too far off from yesterday. We have been noticing signs and maybe some signals that things are going to try and be a little more wet for areas, say, closer towards southern Orange County into Osceola County as well, close to, say, 6 or 7 o'clock. We're still going to have a good amount of dry air, so we'll have to watch closely to see how that verifies as we head into the rest of this afternoon and evening. But I really think just 20 to 30% chance of rain is what we're going to be expecting for this afternoon, and possibly a few lingering into this evening. You'll notice, though, the big takeaway for the end of this week is going to be the fact that we do have shower and storm chances that are on the rise, and that's going to all be because of moisture that's on the increase, meaning higher rain chances and, unfortunately, higher humidity. So it's going to feel a little more normal around here as we head into this weekend, which is not the best timing-wise, but we do have a 60% chance of rain on the way for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures are also going to be a little warmer, but it's just going to feel a lot muggier, unfortunately, which is, again, not too far off from what we would typically see and feel this time of year. But we've been enjoying the last couple of days, trying to look at the silver lining here, and we'll get another taste of fall here before long.
Yeah, that lower humidity, it has been nice.
It's been so nice. I mean, I wish I could just bottle it up because it has just felt amazing. We'll see more of it. It's just going to be a little
just not yet.
We have to be patient, as always, with Florida weather.
All right, that is true. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson, we appreciate you joining us. And here comes Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Let's go ahead and listen in.
So thank you all for coming. Obviously, we have the mayor of Edgewater, the interim city manager is here, Detective McGuire, who's the point person on the case, the point investigator. State attorney's office is here. What we're going to do is I want to give you some updates. Then I'm going to play a short snippet of the video, and it's going to stop just short of when the gunshots ring out. And then the mayor and the city manager are going to talk about David and what's occurring, and we'll answer some of your questions. There's still a lot of questions that we cannot answer. Okay, there's things that the family are telling us that we're not able to prove conclusively. So what I want to start off with is this. On September the 5th, our assassin went to Buck's gun rack and purchased a Glock Model 20 10mm handgun for $729. He then had to wait the 3-day waiting period. Yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock, he went to Buck's gun rack and picked up this weapon. 2 hours and 4 minutes later, firing 24 shots, 2 clips, into off-duty police officer David Jewell, assassinating him on the spot. He has confessed that he did it. He has confessed that he knows the difference between right and wrong. He said that he had an argument with police officer Jewell, but he doesn't know when that argument occurred or what that argument was about. He knows that Officer Jewell carried a gun, but he doesn't remember if he saw him in uniform or it was some other time. For the record, Officer Jewell was unarmed yesterday. And from what we understand from his family, when he's not working, he doesn't carry a firearm. So working with the state attorney's office, obviously, is a first-degree murder case. When you see the video, I think it's going to answer some questions. He also talks about and tells Detective McGuire that he thought earlier in the day of killing and shooting Officer Jewell. And he was having a bad day. And then you'll see in the video, actually you might not see all of it in the video, but you'll see Officer Jewell walk into the store and go back and get 2 drinks. And you'll see our assassin kind of walk past him, look at him, and go out to the car and retrieve that jacket. And then within a matter of, the whole thing takes about 2 minutes to transpire. And then we have what we have. And again, I will tell you, in 38 years of policing, homicide detective at the time, the 4th largest city in the country, to watch the evil and the calculatingness of what he did to Officer Jewell, you cannot describe it. To unload, stop, reload, and then just go right back at it again and fire additional shots. Again, we're talking 24 shots from probably between 1 and 2 feet away. So do I need to move this for the play the video, Brian, or are we good? We'll just move out of the way? Okay. So this is Officer Jewell. He's already in the store. He's at the counter. He has 2 drinks. The clerk who was at the counter is back in the men's room. Our bad guy is left. Here he comes in, coat over his hand. There's the gun. And he fires the entire clip into the back of the officer. The officer lands on his back, face up. The suspect then backs up. Keep that up there for a second. The suspect then backs up by the display there with the orange candy or whatever it is. You watch him unload the clip, reload the clip, and then walk back up and fire the remaining shots into the officer's face and neck area. So, again, that gun is in his hands 2 hours and 4 minutes. He talked about wanting to kill him. Now, some of the family members have told our detectives that He's been diagnosed with being bipolar and all this other stuff. We haven't confirmed that. He's allegedly being treated by telemed. We haven't confirmed that. He's allegedly on medication. We haven't confirmed any of that. But no matter what, I think, and I'm not an attorney, it's a state attorney's job, when you look at the totality of the circumstances here, and I'm not going out on a limb on saying this, that gun was bought for one purpose and one purpose alone. That gun was bought to assassinate police officer Jewell for whatever reason this guy was thinking. We got his ATF forms to see what he put on there, and obviously, you know, when it comes to the part in the ATF form about being adjudicated or in a mental institution, he checks no, and there's no indication that says that. Have you ever been adjudicated as a mental defective, or have you ever been committed to a mental institution? He checks no. There is no anything to say that he lied on that. In 2023, park rangers in Tomoka Park get a call for somebody who's target practicing out there, and they get out there along with Ormond Beach PD, and he's got the same car that he retrieved the weapon from. He's got a rifle and a handgun in there. From what we could tell at this point in time, he was probably given an NTA, a notice to appear, for shooting in the park, and he had to complete a handgun safety program and a firearms safety program course and pay a minimal fine. We don't know where that handgun and that rifle are. We're assuming somebody took custody of that, a family member or somebody took custody of that after the incident. That's the only time we have any calls for service or any interaction with law enforcement. So before I turn it over to the mayor and the city manager, do you guys have any questions about what I just updated you guys on? Yeah, David and David's wife, David's wife, by the way, was a dispatcher for us, and his father-in-law will live in the same house, 21 Wisteria. It's not that far away. So according to David's wife, she didn't really know him. She heard of him from her dad and from her husband, and they would go in there, lottery tickets. I mean, here you see them stopping on the way home. David just picked up his father-in-law from the hospital and was driving him back home, and they decided to stop and get a couple cold drinks and something else when this happened. So they're familiar. He has been, our assassin's been a employee of the Circle K for 3 years, not specifically that store. He rotates, but he's been working there. He's a Seabreeze student, or was a Seabreeze student. Can't tell you whether or not he graduated. And I think, and I don't know if I said this last night, you know, think of David's wife here. You know, her dad calls her and says, something happened at the Circle K. I don't know what it is, but I bet you Eduardo's involved, because he's out in his parking lot taking his shirt off. He takes his Circle K shirt off, puts another shirt on. She then, Elizabeth, his wife, who used to be a dispatcher for us, goes and gets his police radio and turns it on and is listening live to everything that's going on. Everything that's going on. She hears who it was. She knows her husband was pronounced dead at the scene. She knows all this stuff before we really even get a chance to go down and talk to her. So I cannot imagine what's going through that. David has a 17-year-old son that I spoke to his ex-wife, his mom, who worked for us for a while, and you know, I had a dispatcher write us something who worked with him, and it basically said that, you know, when he worked with David as a member of the communication center, him and his wife were just outstanding people. We had lunch together. When this person, Ron, came over from Deltona Fire Dispatch, he welcomed them with open arms. We had lots of laughs. One night my motorcycle broke down, and I had to come back to get it after hours to pick it up. And the first person to volunteer to help me load it onto the trailer was David. That was what he was all about, always willing to help people out. And if you look at his career, you know, starts here in 2006 in evac. Then he shifts over to the telecommunicators side. Then he goes over to Lake Helen for a short period of time. And then, obviously, he goes to work for Edgewater. So we're talking about a person who spent most of his adult life, at least the last 19 years, trying to keep and help Volusia County. So, Mayor and Mr. City Manager.
Morning. I'm Joe Mahoney. I'm the interim city manager with Edgewater. Previous to that, I was a chief of police for the City of Edgewater Police Department. I swore David Jewell into office in 2023. He was truly a great police officer and a better person. He was the individual that would smile every morning. He'd walk into the station and he'd greet command staff, all our admin staff, and he was that cordial guy. He always went above and beyond to do the small things in the community. You know, he's the guy that would be helping the disabled vehicle and going above and beyond to really show we care and he cares for our community. You know, he didn't deserve to die in this cowardly act. It's really disgusting. It's been a tough almost 24 hours for the Edgewater community. But you know, when you take away that title of officer, he's a human. He is a father, he's a husband, and he's a son. We have to remember that outside the uniform, these police officers are people. The city is going to create a GoFundMe page. The official link will be on the Edgewater Police Department social media. So I'm sure we'll get some more clowns out there that will try to profit off this tragedy. So please go to our official link. Our Facebook page will have that. If you need to confirm it, please reach out to our police department. And I just want to send my condolences to his family. He really was truly a great man. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Good morning. This is truly one of the saddest things I've ever seen in the community of Edgewater. David was a wonderful individual who served his community. He truly gave public service his whole entire adult life to public service. He's a tremendous individual. The city of Edgewater and the community as a whole is mourning his loss. His dedication to public service will never be unnoticed. We're going to do several things to remember him in the city of Edgewater. I believe we're putting his car out front of the police station currently. He was a tremendous individual. As a member of the city council, I can speak for the whole city council that we send our deepest condolences to the family, to his son. This should have never happened. What a coward. I want to thank Mike Chitwood for his wonderful job that he's done to make sure that this individual will be punished to the full extent of the law. This should have never happened. What a coward. It couldn't have happened to a greater individual. The city of Edgewater is mourning this loss as a whole, and the community support, I've never seen it stronger. Thank you.
You guys got any questions for anybody?
Just for them, are there any resources for your officers? How do you guys now try to just move forward?
Sure, we have critical incident counselors in place. You know, we are a 34 officer department, so it's kind of a close-knit family. There's a lot of support there. It's very personable. No one's a number in our agency. Everybody knows everybody. So that support system's there. And you know, they're handling it the best they can. And, you know, policing, we still have to go out and police the next day. So we're out there, you know, handling business for our citizens. And every man or woman that is part of our department is excellent. And I've always been proud to serve alongside them. Although I'm in the interim city manager role now, we have a great acting chief in place, and I can't say enough about our department. They're great, and they make me proud every day.
Definitely agree.
Sheriff, I have a question about the other person who was in there.
Yep.
Are they cooperate? Are they a witness?
Yeah, they've been nothing but. The gentleman was in the men's room, heard the shots, comes out, he sees David. He sees his coworker out in the parking lot, changing his shirt, taking his Circle K shirt off, and he assumes that somebody was in there targeting the Circle K, and he figures, I better get the hell out of here. And then I think obviously there's a conversation that occurs where he's the guy that actually calls 911 as our assassin is walking away. And again, you know, it was a really, really quick response at live 911. The deputies heard it. They were there. The investigators have been working around the clock. The state attorney's office has been on this, as they are every homicide. There's in this homicide, we have a off-duty police officer who was killed, but everything we're doing is what we do for any homicide. Just harder because all of us have had a connection to this individual.
And Officer Jewell, from my he did not see it. He did not see it coming.
We're waiting for the autopsy results, and I know when I went to bed last night, my prayer was that he didn't feel anything, that the first shot killed him, and everything else that happened afterwards, it's just that first shot killed him. That's what my prayer is, that's the way he left this world, was that way, without having to lay there helpless and watching knowing that second barrage was coming in. So, you guys good? All right. Thank you very much for coming over.
Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood wrapping up his news conference, shaking hands there with Edgewater Mayor Diesel Depew. On the other side there is the city manager, the interim city manager of Edgewater, Joseph Mahoney, who was actually the previous police chief of Edgewater. So when you look at this picture of the officer being sworn in at the time, this is David Jewell being sworn in and shaking hands with the police chief, the former police chief now, Joseph Mahoney, who we just heard speaking during that news conference. So here's some of the new details that we got from police, from the sheriff, I should say, just in the past few minutes. They believe that this suspect, Eduardo Machado, fired 24 shots. That's 2 full clips, they said, emptying out one of the clips, reloading, then emptying out a second clip from 1 to 2 feet away. You saw that surveillance video from inside the Circle K gas station in Ormond by the Sea where this happened. It appears, and what they believe is that David Jewell's back was turned and that he likely never even saw what was coming. They say the suspect purchased the gun on September the 5th, but ended up just picking up the gun yesterday afternoon, just 2 hours and 4 minutes before this shooting. Officer Jewell was off duty at the time. He was in plain clothes. He was also not armed. They say the sheriff said he had just picked up his father-in-law from the hospital. They were on their way home when they stopped in for a couple of drinks and something else. They also talked about the wife of Officer Jewell, who apparently previously worked for the telecoms with the sheriff's office, 911 dispatcher, listening to the response on the radio after hearing about the situation as the Jewell's father-in-law called from the parking lot of the Circle K where this was happening. Apparently, Officer Jewell also leaves behind a 17-year-old son. We do know that there will be plenty of support coming in to help out. We heard about a GoFundMe page that is going to be launched. We don't have the link for that just yet, but I do want to go ahead and show you on the Edgewater Police Department Facebook page this post, posted about an hour ago, honoring Officer David Jewell. And I just want to read it to you. It says, for the past 2 years, Officer David Jewell proudly wore the Edgewater Police Department uniform, dedicating himself to protecting and serving our community. His commitment to the badge was unwavering, but it was his devotion as a husband and father that truly defined him. This post going on to say Officer Jewell was kind, selfless, caring, and a light during a dark day. For those who had the honor of knowing him, he was a great friend with a sense of humor. Though his time with us was far too short, the impact he made will remain with all of us forever. They go on to say they're deeply grateful for the outpouring of love and support. I'm going to post some more ways on the Facebook page that people can show support for Officer Jewell's family. They're also going to have his vehicle parked outside of the Edgewater Police Department. We expect likely a growing memorial there in the coming hours. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Garrett Weimer here, giving you a live look inside the Brevard County Commission meeting going on right now. They're discussing potentially raising the gas tax. So let's go ahead and listen in as they discuss this. This would make it, this would increase that, you see, giving them kind of exercising that local option that we've seen a number of communities discuss and take in recent days, including Seminole County and Lake County. Brevard County now considering this. Let's go ahead and listen in live from this meeting.
Not right now. As late as next summer, realistically, end of July, you can make that decision. It's not, if you're thinking referendum, it's not something that you have to decide today. So you could take the time to gather the facts, understand what it is we're doing, you know, what it's going to replace, all of those kinds of things. So, Commissioner Delaney.
I was wondering if, I don't have that number off the top of my head, but the amount of dollars that we had to reduce for the reconstruction of the roads, like the repaving of the roads, was it close to $3 million?
Yeah, Commissioner, the amount is staying the same. But because of inflation and cost increase, the mileage is going down to 40. So to restore it back to 50 miles a year, it'd be about $3.8 million.
Okay. So I'm wondering what the board feels about possibly doing the 9th cent, because that would be the lowest impact, and that we could get some immediate relief. And then we could put the local 1 to 5 cent to referendum, you know, eventually, if that is the will of the board at that time. That way we can keep our road program going, or at least putting you know, more dollars to it. And that one we don't have to share with the rest of with the county. And we, you know, we could fill at least the majority of that hole. I don't know how anybody feels about that.
I can't do it today, but I'll tell you, I talk to legislators, DOT, very, very regularly, and beat the drum for roads, road funding. Don't take away road funding. Don't sweep all of the funds from FDOT. Last year they wanted to do dock stamps to take that revenue away from them. So I'd have to tell you that this coming session, I'd rather work real hard towards our road projects in Brevard County. So that's where I'm going to put my efforts.
The FDOT presentation that, you know, many of us saw was, you know, that they are taking hundreds of millions of dollars from Brevard in state funding. And so we're having a huge, massive hole through FDOT. And not that I'm not with you, and I'll be, you know, right there beating that drum with you, but I don't feel as comfortable relying on that. Yeah.
You know, it's always been with road funding, and, you know, we sit here with two legislators who can speak to it better than I can, but I remember when I worked up there, you know, you were always fighting for a ranking. So I don't hold it against every other county and municipality who's going up there and trying to fight to get their share back. So, you know, we just simply should all work on that. I'm just very mindful of the calendar and when to make some of these asks, and who's in a good position where in the legislature to try to get that done, and those kinds of things. So I'm just committing to the board that I'm going to be working toward that this session. So that's where I am.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. The 9th cent, does that require 3 votes or 4 votes?
4.
4.
That's a supermajority.
So
Yes,
I think I've heard 2 people against that anyway. Did I hear that right? I think I did.
Chair.
Commissioner Goodson, in discussion, sir.
Thank Thank you. I would definitely want it to go to referendum for the taxpayers to decide. That would be my choice.
Okay.
Okay, I think realistically, if you're thinking referendum, that this issue is about 10 months early. So I think do all the necessary work and get it in the proper posture next summer. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. So we're going to go on to public comments. I have 2 cards. Rick. Okay. Wave in support. That's okay. I'm kidding you. Okay. Pam Avery. Did I not say it right last time?
No, but I scribbled it last time.
Going into public comment here, and I do want to listen in for a minute just to see if we see anyone kind of weigh in on the gas tax. Let's go ahead and listen in another minute here.
Still morning. Last week reminded us that standing up for the truth isn't easy. Charlie believed that truth isn't something you accept blindly. It's something you examine, challenge, and live. That kind of courage is exactly what we need here today and moving forward. So I'll begin with my ask. I'm calling for this board to formally admonish Commissioner Delaney. Put it on the record, hold her accountable for her words, her actions, and her misuse of the public's trust. Her record so far hasn't been so great. She ran on killing the North Brevard Economic Development Zone, her costly office renovations, renovating Tom Statham Park again. That right there is already too much loss in taxpayer dollars.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus as the Brevard County Commission hears public comment about some different topics there. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with more Fox 35 News Plus after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Garrett Weimer here, and I want to get you inside this committee hearing on Capitol Hill, where Kash Patel, the FBI director, is speaking right now and testifying in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is holding an oversight hearing right now. That is Chuck Grassley on the right. He is a Republican senator from Iowa and the chairman of this Senate Judiciary Committee. We should note that one of the members of this committee is Florida's Ashley Moody. I have not seen her come up with her time for questioning yet, so hopefully that will be coming up in the next few minutes. Let's go ahead, though, and listen in as this oversight hearing continues.
I think she made a great argument there for it. Moving on to today, Director Patel, thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment to making sure that America is safe again. Thank you for doing that coast to coast and within our cities. I certainly look forward to talking about that and talking about your historic gains in these areas. But I would be remiss if I didn't begin my questioning with you about the horrific events that we have seen over the last week. Obviously, our heart breaks. Not only for Erica and Charlie's two children and for parents and families, but for America and for those of us who knew him, you being chief among those. So just my sincere condolences and thank you for the steps that you and the FBI have taken to make sure that we have someone within custody and we're going to be able to move forward with that. But if you look over the last, since last summer alone, we had 2 assassination attempts on the president. We've had an arson attack on the governor Shapiro there in Pennsylvania. You have the murder of the state representatives, Melissa Hortman and her husband in Minnesota, along with the shooting of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Several anti-Semitic attacks, several attacks on Christians that were noted by Senator Hawley. We had the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staffers here in D.C., the June firebombing in Colorado. We could go on, and we saw a culmination, as Senator Schmidt said, with the brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk last week. I appreciate you committing to both Senator Hawley and Senator Kennedy, talking about making sure that all that are involved are held accountable. I think that is critically important, and I think that America needs that transparency. I want to read you some words of Vice President J.D. Vance. He said, "If we want to stop political violence like what happened to Charlie Kirk, we have to be honest about the people who are celebrating it and the people who are financing it." My question to you is, in light of Charlie's murder and all of the things that we have just referenced and have been talking about today, what steps is the FBI taking to more aggressively crack down on those who promote, encourage, finance, fund these types of engagements and this type of political violence?
Thank you, Senator, for your kind words. So in terms of how we crack down on the root cause of this violence, for now putting aside the ideological motivations and how they got there, the monetary issue is a real issue, and as I've said before, we follow the money. So we work with our partners at the Treasury Department to trace where the money came from, how these individuals paid for the training they received or the platforms they were using, and also how these individuals collectively got together in whatever groups they were on whatever social media sites they were on, to utilize clickbait to make money for their ideology. And so to trace all of those, we are using, not just in Charlie's investigation, but others, lawful process and serving 2703D orders on any entity that is related in any way financially to any of these criminal acts of violence. And we are going to hold them accountable with our partners at the Department of Justice.
Excellent. I would love to stay abreast of that, and just we must get to the bottom of it. We must follow the money. Someone is funding this discourse. Do you believe, obviously there are people here, unfortunately American citizens, that may be engaged in that, but do you also believe that some of this may be coming from overseas?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of it and let's make it stop.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you about the Dobbs decision. So we know that it was leaked in May of 22, and then we had the Marshal Service say we found nothing in January of 23. I find that absolutely mind-boggling, that we can't figure out who leaked that opinion. We know it was done in attempts to undermine the process, and then the intimidation of the justices occurred after that. Tell me what you can do as FBI director to help us get to the bottom of what happened and actually hold someone accountable for their actions.
So I can't speak to what the marshals did and how they conducted their investigation. I can tell you, generally speaking, the FBI has taken over the investigation on the leak because it was such a detrimental leak.
So you commit to getting to the bottom of it?
We are utilizing the full resources of the FBI as we usually do on leak investigations, and we will make sure our results are public at the appropriate time.
We need answers. I want to talk about child sexual exploitation. Thank you for making protecting our youth your top priority. We know that that is the greatest gift that we have. That is our greatest treasure here in the United States, is the next generation. And finally, we have an FBI director that is putting that at the top of his list. Can you tell me the steps and the different initiatives? I've heard you talk about a couple of them. You've mentioned 764 amongst other things. Tell me what you're doing, and specifically, I want to know about when it comes to sextortion. So as a parent who is raising children right now, teenagers, and you're looking at what's happening, whether people are snapping photos and then what's happening online. I have had a number of parents sit in front of me telling me terrible, heartbreaking stories about their children ultimately taking their own life because of being blackmailed. I want to know, what steps are you taking to get to the bottom of that and to absolutely end this? If this were happening in a storefront, Mr. Director, that store would be shut down, no matter where it was, coast to coast. And yet we continue to allow these things to happen, and we've got to have a more targeted approach when we're looking at this. And so what are you doing to protect children, and specifically sextortion?
So in our VCAC initiative, our Violent Crimes Against Children is our umbrella enterprise operations hub for things like Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Not Forgotten and Operation Justice. And in things like that, those are producing the results that I told you about. 1,500 child predators arrested, 300 human traffickers arrested, 4,700 children identified and saved, a 35% increase from year to date last year alone. But specifically on your sextortion question, Senator, that is a problem that we are seeing explode on generative AI in private sector and social media companies. And what we're doing is engaging with NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children, because this one stat alone should probably cause great pause. They have seen a 1,325%.
Senator Katie Britt questioning FBI Director Kash Patel about a number of different topics there. We do expect to hear from Ashley Moody shortly. We are going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus. Come back at noon with live now coverage of this Senate oversight hearing, and then I'll be back at 1 o'clock with more Fox 35 News Plus. So keep it here on Fox Local throughout the afternoon for more coverage on Fox 35 News Plus, and also 2 o'clock on Florida Live.
We need help from the private sector and the internet service providers that allow this generative AI to